So from the sounds of it, things just keep getting worse and worse for Vanguard Zombies. Never mind us not having a pause button, which by now we are 3 weeks into the game's life cycle, and something as basic as being able to pause the game in a solo match isn't here. I don't know personally how difficult that is to do. Obviously it's going to be harder than I thought, because surely they would have done it by now. There are many issues that people have with this game, as we found out over the past few weeks. Easter eggs, no round-based maps, only 3 objectives, loads and loads of other things we could go through. We actually found out back in October, a month before the game came out, that there wasn't going to be any round-based maps in Vanguard. A lot of credible leakers tweeted this. Just taking one example, Modern Warfare 2 OG replied to a tweet that said, "Is it still true that Season 1 gets a round-based map?" And he said, "I'm not sure now. I first reported that there wasn't going to be a full classic round-based map for Vanguard at launch, and that they were aiming for Season 1, but was since told by another source that a round-based map may not even be coming by Season 1. So that was what we were told all the way back in October, that there wasn't going to be a round-based map when the game launches in November, which we've come to find out now, that's true. The leaker then told us that actually they're aiming to release the round-based map in Season 1, hence why he got asked this question, is it still true? And he replied by saying, well, I've actually been told by another source that we may not be getting a round-based map at all. And this is where we've been left hanging for quite a few weeks, wondering if we're ever going to see a round-based zombies map in Vanguard. We're being told that they're aiming to release one during Season 1, or we're not getting one at all. But since we had this tweet, after seeing the community's reaction, 99% of people, I would say, weren't happy about this. I've said in quite a few videos, I don't think this mode in Vanguard caters towards round-based fans at all. In fact, I've even seen fans of the Outbreak mode, which I think is who Treyarch were trying to please here. Vanguard Zombies is a mixture of Outbreak, Onslaught, and round-based apparently, but even a lot of Outbreak players aren't happy with this mode in Vanguard. There has been a lot of outrage, as you can tell, on Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, for those people who are using that platform. Look, no one cares what you're eating today, okay? But because of the community uproar, I'm going to say, Treyarch definitely have seen the reaction. There are hundreds of developers on Twitter. You see a lot of them posting all of the time, retweeting Call of Duty things. So there's no doubt that the Treyarch developers have seen the reaction to Vanguard Zombies, and we have proof of that because someone on Twitter said, what if Forsaken was the last round-based zombies map we ever got? And someone called Kevin Drew replied to this. He is the lead game designer at Treyarch. He was in charge of the zombie systems, Outbreak, and Black Ops Cold War, so he's had a massive role to play in what we see in Vanguard Zombies as well. And he replied saying, what a terrible thought. No thanks. Pretty much saying that Forsaken in Black Ops Cold War wasn't the last round-based zombies map we're ever going to get. And a lot of people, when they saw this, thought, well, okay then, that confirms it. We are getting more round-based zombies maps in Vanguard. But that's not necessarily what this tweet says. He's just saying that Forsaken wasn't Treyarch's last round-based zombies map. This doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see another round-based map in Vanguard. He could be referring to Treyarch's next game in 2023. It doesn't have to mean Vanguard, although, on the flip side, it could do. So a lot of people seeing this were excited, thinking this must mean sometime in the near future, maybe as we were told from leaks in October, in Season 1 we'll get a round-based zombies map. But just the other day, Modern Warfare 2 OG and a few other leakers tweeted again, where he said, this is in line with what I've heard too. I don't know what the original tweet was, by the way, but he continues on by saying, previously I said that no round-based zombies map was at launch, but at Season 1, but soon after I was told that not only by Season 1, but it's likely we'll not see a round-based map for Vanguard Zombies at all. And this tweet came out after what Kevin said. Modern Warfare 2 OG and a load of other tweeters obviously have inside sources. A lot of what they say has come true, but I should clarify for the people out there who don't really understand this, you do have to take every leak with a grain of salt. I personally don't know what's true and what isn't. I'm just reporting on the news. Leaks can be wrong, and of course, things can change. So right now, maybe this is true, but as we progress on into this game's life cycle, things could change, and Treyarch might decide, you know what, because of the uproar we've seen in the community, we're going to change our original plans and actually make round-based maps for Vanguard instead. Personally, if you're asking me, what I think Treyarch are planning on doing is releasing new regions for Dirt and Fang, and I think that's probably what we'll see in Season 1. Maybe 1 or 2 new regions added to Dirt and Fang, possibly another couple of new objectives as well, a pause button, hopefully a Pack-a-Punch camo. I do think that was Treyarch's original plan, but because of the uproar, possibly in Season 3, 4, 5, somewhere later on down the line, because I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, just seeing how far behind they are on Vanguard Zombies. Like I said, they don't even have a pause button, a Pack-a-Punch camo. This game is missing the basic features. It's clearly very far behind, and so because of that, if we do get a round-based zombies map, I don't think it's going to be until Season 3 at least. However, as we're being told by the leaker, there is a high chance we might not get one at all. I do, thinking about it now, find it kind of strange why Treyarch decided to make this decision in the first place. Why take away the standard round-based mode that we've had since the beginning and give us this new game mode, which is a mixture of Outbreak, round-based and Onslaught. I know people say the reason for that is because they didn't have as much time to develop this game, but it would have been much easier for them to turn Duran Fang into a round-based map. Coding for that should already be in the game. It already exists. This mode in Vanguard is new. They had to create these 3 objectives for it. It would have been much easier to turn Duran Fang into a round-based map. So the excuse in this instance of them not having enough time doesn't work, because actually turning Duran Fang into a round-based map would have been easier. It would have taken less time. And so knowing that, I'm interested as to why Treyarch made this decision. And just going back and looking at an interview that they did with GameSpot, well, let me just read out what they said. GameSpot say the departure from the standard Zombies offering raised some backlash from fans, and Treyarch's Associate Director of Design, Gavin Locke, defended the decision in a GameSpot interview. I think we've stripped down the round-based experience. The ever-increasing challenge in choosing how you want to play and unlocking the map, we wanted to incorporate those elements, and then we used the objectives to be the gate. If Outbreak is one extreme and round-based Zombies is one, very directed versus very open, we've taken the ingredients from both and mashed them together. That's what Treyarch's creative specialist Miles Leslie said, but they also made it clear that Treyarch are not forgetting about round-based fans. They're just trying to offer something new for players to enjoy. So that sort of tells you what their thinking was when they mashed these 2 modes together. But in terms of, will we get any normal round-based Zombies maps in the future that aren't a mixture of both? That's what we're all wondering. That's the point of this video. Well, to that question, Leslie said, round-based as you know it might get worked into some other mechanics. That's probably the best I can say without giving it away. They, in terms of round-based fans, are going to be satisfied with some upcoming stuff that I think will be pretty cool. So yeah, this doesn't really answer the question, or does it? Because they do say that round-based as you know it might get worked into some other mechanics, which is essentially what Duran Fang is. They say that round-based fans are going to be satisfied with some upcoming stuff, which they think is cool. In another interview, Treyarch were asked, now as far as post-launch content, is this going to be like Outbreak, where you're expanding regions for this? Which is like what I said, or will there be standard round-based maps coming post-launch? And Treyarch replied, I think our approach is a little different, in delivering an experience historically each season and making sure that it's engaging in different ways. Objectives, possibly new Outbreak entities, more intel. So when you look at the swath of opportunity to engage, there's a lot. We're not going to commit exactly to how we're going to deliver it, of course, because I don't want court effects to kill me. But the key here is that we're going to deliver a lot of content. So again, when asked if we're going to see regions for Outbreak or actual round-based Zombies map post-launch, just like the previous one, they don't really answer the question. They kind of dodge it by saying all we can say is we're going to be delivering a lot of content, which for me, the answer is pretty obvious that at the time of this interview, their plan wasn't to do round-based maps in Vanguard. I do think they're planning to add more regions to Duran Fang. But with the community's reaction, who knows, maybe it would have changed their original plans. And the final thing Treyarch were asked in terms of Easter eggs, because again, right now in Duran Fang, we don't have one. Not only is there not a main quest, but there's no side Easter eggs as well, not even a music Easter egg. The question that was put to them was, one of the exciting parts of getting a new Zombies map is the main storyline quest. Zombies players love Easter eggs, but we've learned from a new Treyarch blog post that the main quest isn't coming until sometime post-launch. Can you talk a bit about this decision? And Treyarch replied, one reason was to make sure, because we're already delivering a lot of new things, was day one for new players to first come into the world, learn about the characters, and there's a lot of intel already in across the locations. We want to spread it out so people can fully digest it. One of the main things with the main quest, we wanted it to be more accessible than previous games, and we wanted to spend the right amount of time that anyone can do it, and then we're going to deliver it and spread it across post-ship as well. So what they're trying to do in Vanguard Zombies now, and they also began to do this in Black Ops Cold War as well, is make zombies easier, make it more accessible and appetizing to new players, comparing it to how zombies used to be from World War II Black Ops 4, I would say, especially when it came to Easter eggs. In most cases, they were very difficult to do compared to Black Ops Cold War anyway. Zombies as a whole wasn't always noob friendly. There are certain maps that are easy, but you compare any of those older games to Cold War, even Vanguard, these new ones, I think anyone would say are a lot easier, not just Easter eggs, but to play the game. So the direction that Treyarch are trying to take zombies in now is for them to be more accessible to new players. I do also think they just don't want to admit here that the Easter egg isn't ready. There's so many basic things missing from the mode right now, so a main quest is probably the least of their priorities. But the reason they gave why we don't have a main quest is because they want new players to learn about the game. So we have Treyarch in these interviews not really giving us a clear answer, although I think it's pretty obvious that their original plan wasn't to give us any round-based maps in Vanguard. One of the developers then came out and said Forsaken wasn't the last round-based zombies map we're ever going to see, but this didn't necessarily mean he was talking about in Vanguard. He could have been talking about in the next game, and then we had a leaker come out and say, actually, we might not get a round-based map in Vanguard at all. There's still a chance, and especially with everything that's gone on, I think that chance is even higher now, but if it does come, I don't think it will be until Season 3. But we'll just have to wait and see. So there we go, guys. That is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.